And
night.
just to
Go ahead.
remember, Abimbola was able to connect with her. We talked this week. I know she came on and said, I've been playing
Yes,
phone tag.
yes,
So her event is happening tomorrow. So it's a great session
yes.
with entrepreneurs in the community, kind of like a trade show. So definitely gonna pop by and support. But
And
yes, we were able
and
to
if
connect.
and if she can, you did it on Monday. Post the information. We'll post it on in real time right here, right now, the day before the event. So
Yes,
would love
yes.
to do that. So you went to this event last night. I jumped in for a few seconds on IG Live.
Yeah.
First of all, it's it's interesting. Were any black media invited?
That I they should have been, because I told them who Black Media was, so they had a list. So I would assume invites went out. If not,
I didn't hear a thing.
they missed that.
If you didn't broadcast on IG Live, I wouldn't have known about that event at all.
Ah, yeah, like I don't understand. And there was one radio station. Actually, let me check what the name was. That was
Okay.
there.
Also, Elemental Note says, "Good morning, Ryan." And Bimbola says, thank you very much. Yay, no problem. But yeah,
Yeah,
like it,
Love A Radio. They were there
I know about them.
with Petronella.
They were part of the presenters the last time the Black Caucus had consultations about federal budget and money
Yes.
going. But where are they based in? I don't even know. I outside that I know nothing about them.
And that's where, when I was talking to Petronella, is to learn more about exactly what they do so that we can support. But that was the last time, yeah, when we went to that panel that they were doing with the Black Caucus. So now they were there, but not so much in a media capacity, I would say. Like they were more, I would say, attendees like I was, but actual media coverage, I didn't see any Black media covering it. So hey, we
I'm
were able to
I'm
Instagram live it, but yeah,
I'm very disappointed about that. Really intrigued. There's a type of event you want to broadcast out, especially to Black Canadians, to know
absolutely.
who
Because
are their who are their and who are their political representatives across this country, let alone in their own area.
and
And
imagine, I
nothing.
think this is the first time there was 45 in attendance at this event. So 45 Black elected professionals from across Canada, and that's as far as BC was in the house, Alberta, Quebec, Ottawa, Ontario, and Nova Scotia, all in the space. And I think it was the first time we had that many Black elected officials, because they'd been doing the conference for a while. And I think it was like 19 or 20 at some years, but now 45. So really inspiring house. But like you said, these are things that we want to cover and let people know. And also them being able to discuss the issues and how, because it was different levels as well, from trustee, counselor, provincial MPPs, all the way up to federal MPs and senators. So all of them being able to discuss. I'm telling you, this
Okay,
is important stuff.
here's my question.
Mm.
I have a few questions since you're the media king. Um, who else that you knew was at this event?
Who else was?
That you knew was at this
Oh,
event?
uh, so beyond an elected official,
Yep.
who else is there? So uh, Abigail Hamilton from Rescue Youth International. So Andrea Barrett, she was there.
Andrea
Allison,
Barrett.
yes, yes, and
Why was
Andrea
she
Barrett was.
there?
She does a lot of work with Rescue Youth International now and her Diversity Institute. So Lorraine was there, who's the president of ACBN. Other people that have run or past counselors. So one quick side note, a friend of mine, Yafet, who I went to school with in grade 6, way back in Greenbrier days, he had run for a political office, so I was able to see him there. Yeah, with Claudia McCoy, she was there. Oh my gosh, Curtis Vermont, he was there. I don't know if you know Curtis. So, I mean, I feel people made the drive, but I would say it was majority political, like people that were elected officials. I would say were in the room and
Okay,
past. So, Stephen Wright, who was a previous counselor in Peterborough, he was there. But yes,
so people who are watching live or on the replay.
mm,
Am I crazy to think why weren't there any black media there? Or no, I'm not. I am not going to make an assumption. I
mm,
wasn't invited, but I don't represent black media, all black media in Canada. But don't you find it interesting that
mm.
black media was not there to cover and
But that's
showcase that
what's
event?
odd because you're on their list,
And
like their event,
Mr.
like
Mr. Couteau, who comes
yeah.
on every once in a while.
we have
So
to we have to figure out how to rectify that. But also remember,
what more can we do?
uh,
Like I'm not. I don't. I'm not. What more? You were invited, so obviously they like you.
but it's when Mr. Kuto mentioned about coming on the show when he posted it. So that's where I followed up, and then it's like, hey, this thing is happening. So I feel if we're more on top of events like this that are happening, we need to
Yeah, but
position ourselves.
how
It's
can we
not
be
waiting for them to
okay?
invite us anymore. We need to like
Yeah, but the
go
thing
and
is,
just be present.
it's is we can't be on top of these events if we're not told about these events.
But that's what I mean. So things like there's ways to know what's happening because if they're not going to use their list that they do have to invite the media, we have to start digging in so
Okay.
that once we
Do
become
I have to?
aware.
I'm gonna go here with something. I'm gonna show people a text. Okay.
Mhm,
Now I have Michael Couteau's personal cell phone number.
mhm,
Personal.
mhm.
I don't know if I can show you this. This is you can't see it.
Oh
This is
yeah,
a
it's
now
not
you
showing up
can't
here.
really see it. Okay,
Mm,
here's a message from July 24th. Greetings. I hope you and your family are fine and safe. When are you available to come on the show? Okay.
yes,
So
yes.
we are going to, I don't want to go there. If I was a really shock host, I'd say day number of Michael, day number. We could do a count, but I'm going to be polite.
Oh
But
boy.
I could do a count. How many days it will take Michael to, and I'm not being negative here, but please, we want our, not only myself and Ryan, but our family here would
Mm,
like to have you on.
valid.
So, so this is just interesting. Oh, okay. Darcy says, does Canada not have a black caucus like the US? Yes, we do.
But there's caucuses in specific parties. So this was a nonpartisan invitation to
Right?
all elected black officials. So there's,
Yep.
I'm not sure in the U.S. the race is
They have
it
they
a black
have the
caucus.
CBCC, you know, the black
Mm,
caucus, and it's all. I'm pretty sure it's all parties. Dr. Tachi, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have the black caucus in the U.S. and it's all parties, I believe. But I'm not going to make that
okay,
assumption. But
right.
I'm pretty sure it's just they mirror what the one in Canada mirrors what they have in the U.S.
Mm.
So I'm just disappointed, but I'm not surprised.
Well, and that's where coming out of that panel that they did when they did promise that more support was going to be coming to black media, these things shouldn't be missed. There should be a directory of black media. Anything that's happening, those invites should go out. So I think we can be part of making sure that that gets purposefully done instead of waiting for them to
How?
try and figure it out.
How?
Hey, we have to get the Black Caucus on the line. They coordinated this thing. Let's make sure that we're more front and center. But then let's curate all our black media folk to amplify that message. Roger Dundas, Afro Global and Moses, Fever TV. Like,
So
all
is
of us should be sending that message.
so are you saying the challenge is with us, not with them?
I'm saying if we wait for them, it's not going to happen. So
Do we
I'd
need
rather.
so do we build it without them?
Well, as we build it, we need to advocate for ourselves. Like, who is the Black lobbyist that advocates for Black media?
You.
I'm not a registered lobbyist, so this is where
You might as well be, because they come to you.
you see. So maybe that's a direction that I should pick up and say, you know what? And who was on that said that? Oh my gosh.
Well, you know what?
Jonathan Shaw.
Maybe we do the 2023 version of In Living Color, and you can have 10 job.
Somebody I saw mentioned that episode about me too. Oh,
I think we mentioned it on this platform.
Was it on this? Yeah.
Yes.
It was mentioned. So, but this is what I'm saying. Like, if we wait for them, time and time again, they drop the ball with inviting Black media.
Yeah, well,
so we have to shift our approach and do something.
We just have
different.
to do it ourselves.
Yes. Well, speaking of which, invitations started to go out about the Canadian Black think tank conversations. So, did you get that email? I want to make sure.
Yes, I did. So I will be responding to it.
So things like this could come out of a think tank to say what's the best strategy and approach for Black media. One, to get the resources that it needs, and two, to make sure that when events are happening, we're in the know and we don't miss it. So we're not waiting for them.
We got some comments here.
Yeah.
David from Australia says we have to get more into the Ubuntu.
True.
Right. Dr. Chach, I think, it was laughing about the 10 jobs man. David says build it and they will come. It worked for the movie. Yeah, CBCC, the Congressional Black Caucus. That's what it is in the US. Thank you. That's another conversation. Roger Dundas, hail up, Roger Dundas. Because I've been listening to the conversation, and Dr. Vibe asked a great question. Why is it that when the Black Caucus is doing an event, the Black media is not always invited? The only time that we're invited is when they're asking us to do a presentation for funding. But outside of that, I just think, I feel I'm disappointed and a shade disrespected. And I can speak for myself, but I think I can hopefully can speak respectfully for people I have a relationship with, byblacks.com, disrespected. But then here's the other part though. When they want their stuff out there, they come to us.
Gotcha. Yes.
Like in the last election, there was a gentleman who's no longer part of the caucus now, who doesn't even represent my riding, asking me to do coverage for him. I said, hold on, you're not even in my riding. You've never asked to come on my show.
Okay.
So it's just interesting. And it goes back to what a former president of the United States who's been indicted 3 or 4 times recently, who got in a little bit of trouble. And he used a term called quid pro quo.
Okay.
So if you're gonna if you want something from me, you got to give me something back. Maybe that's the way we have to be. We like I don't. A number of media organizations, I'm not going to give them. I feel they don't have to beg. Should not be begging for the Black Caucus's attention. They shouldn't have to be begging. So I say respectfully, we got to make them aware and all that. They know we're here. They know we're here. They know By Blacks is out there. They know Afro Global's out there. They know Fever TV is out there. They know, and I'm going to forget some because I don't know all of them. They know they're there. I'm gonna have, and family, when Michael Couture comes on, if I don't ask this question, I want you to ask him this question, the family. Why do you not want Black media to cover your organization? Simple.
One thing I would prepare you for, there's a very easy political answer to that, though. They're going to say, of course we do, and come up with some reason why, bandwidth and making sure that we send out messages. What the better question is, going forward, what are you going to do to make sure that Black media is included in all of the events that you guys are doing? That's the answer that I want to hear.
What's even funnier? I get emails every week when government's going on federally about updates, so they know who I am, and I'm not speaking. I'm sure other.
That's what I was thinking, that you get those updates. So why
those are government things. That's not from the caucus.
Oh, I don't think the caucus has a newsletter though. So maybe that could be a suggestion to say, what are you doing to keep the community updated on what the Black Caucus is doing? That way, when things are coming up, the Black media would be in the know.
Well, some people say if you don't reach out, you don't care.
Valid, yeah, but this is where we have to remember, if we want behaviors to change, we have to teach it. People will not change their behavior.
Okay, hold on a second, Ryan. We have to teach the caucus.
Absolutely. It's like teaching children. We can't leave your children to do whatever they want and then expect them to have the behavior that you want. You have to give them direction. So we have to advocate and direct the Black Caucus to act accordingly. If Roger Dundas is saying that an organization like Black by Blacks or Convo Media and you as the Dr. Vibe Show aren't being invited to these events that they have all the time, there's a type of behavior there that we don't like. So we have to shift it. Otherwise, it's just going to stay like this. So we can't keep it the same by expecting them to change their behavior just because. We have to purposefully put forward our agenda and then keep them accountable so that it actually gets done. I'm saying I 100% agree with you that they should be better at this, but I haven't seen it shift. So I would say we have to get on their case, and we need to do it ourselves, just like you said, but not let them off the hook. It's one thing to say, okay, they should do better, but we have to teach them how to do better.
Roger goes home. Roger, if you're available, I'd love you to come on right now, because Ryan, you're not
you send it to him and I'll send it to him.
Yeah, because I think that I hear what you're saying, but I don't agree with it a lot. There's parts of it I just don't agree. We have to teach them.
Yes.
I could say they don't think we're important.
But then what do we do with that information? If we feel that they don't think,
we go on, you know what? Build our own and just do it on our own, because obviously actions speak louder than words. Yes, we'll keep them in the loop, but the thing is,
that's what I mean. I agree with that, but we can't dismiss entities that are controlling billions of our dollars.
Here's the bigger question, Ryan. Does Black media need government support to prosper?
Because that question is difficult. So one thing that we should look at is, how much money does government spend on media and on advertising? If a portion of that money was directed to Black media, would that amplify the success of Black media? I would say yes. So is it possible for Black media to be successful without it? Roger Dundas is an example that it can be. Would it amplify what he's already doing and make it more successful so that he can do more work and possibly support other media entities that are coming up? I would say yes. So to say that, could we be successful without government intervention or government resources? Absolutely, that's possible. But the time frame gets extended. But if you tap into government resources, the time frame gets shortened. So it's either we do it the hard way, or we can
and you know what's even interesting though? At least in this country, media is very heavily subsidized. Okay, in Canada, we have something called the CBC. That's Canadian paid. Taxpayers pay for that. But we also have network or media organizations like Chorus, Rogers,
Mhm.
and I'm forgetting CTV. Who's CTV? Who's the parent company? Can't remember off the top of my head. But even though they may not get direct money from the government, if you watch a lot of Canadian program, you watch the credits at the end. There's a lot of tax breaks and tax initiatives that broadcast
Mhm.
and major companies get.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so maybe if and when they want to come to the table and say, hey, you don't even have to give us government money, give us tax breaks. Bell Media, thank you, Roger. Thank you, Bell
Mhm.
Media. Bell Media, well, CBC especially, because let's put it this way: if government cut all their funding of major media, and that's not just television, but film in this country, CBC would be done. The other platforms like your Bell Media, your Rogers could probably still run but they get a lot of they could still run, but they rely heavily on government. Government supports a lot of media in this country. Why not us?
That's the better question. It's not to say let's do it without them and dismiss it. It's why aren't you supporting us? This is what we need, and we put that on their table, and we continually advocate until it gets done. We can't just make it known and then leave them to do whatever they want for a year and then come
But
back
you
to
know
it.
what? There are examples. No,
Mm.
I was going to say something about, I'll use two American examples of two individuals that have built their own platform without any government money.
Mhm.
Dr. Boyce Watkins, whole platform, no government stuff. When he holds his convention, no sponsors, totally run. Roland Martin, same
Mhm.
thing. So that's the example we need to. They don't go begging to the government.
But then this is what I was asking. It's how many of those examples exist? There's two, maybe three if you include Byron Allen.
Yep.
Out of how many media outlets exist in the United States? I think there's over 30,000. So either we do it the hard way with those three examples, or we use the example of all the other media outlets that do get government support and government ads run on their platforms, and it at least reduces the stress. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying the supports, they're the ones that said that they want to support Black media. We were there. They said we are gonna create supports and resources for Black media. What we didn't do is keep the pressure on them and make sure that it gets done, because it just got left in limbo, right?
I'll somewhat agree to that, but even a small bit of people saying they will come on and not coming on, that to me is an
Mhm.
indicator.
And this is where, hey, we got to keep the pressure,
So
because it's easy for them to say they got busy, and that's where we can't let them use that cop out. We have to
yeah,
put the
okay,
pressure on.
we could. So you're making the thought process: if we keep pressure on, they'll respond.
I think so. And again, if that doesn't work, then at least we know we did everything that we could possibly do to get our message in front of the right person and put the pressure on. And then if they ignore that, that's when we can say, listen, these people are not about us. If we leave it up
Okay.
to them, that didn't turn out well. So we tried one way, let's try the other. Then we can write them off if they don't respond to that.
Okay. So Roger says I don't agree with Ryan either. Did you send him the link?
I sent them the link.
Good,
So let me.
good. All right, he's coming. Elemental Note says Ryan is speaking from a solution-oriented place. And Bibola says, yes, government can fund, and we also need to build our own tables. We got David. Now, I don't know if this is a correct email address. Maybe it is. He says blackcaucus.press at mail.house.gov is the email address. I can ask some of my Afro-American friends around the world to collectively request them to come to the table. Now, is that for Canada or US? I just want to confirm, David, on that. Hayden says, at the end of the day, if we want and need something, it'd always be our responsibility to go after it, regardless of what the other side does. Okay, Roger, you give me a thumbs up when you're ready to make it happen. I'm glad you're coming on here. And just while Roger's getting ready to come on, Ambiola, there's our event. You're invited to come support small business. You may be in business or know someone who can register their business. It's a full day of fun, family, kids area, food, drinks, and supporting businesses. Please click the link in bio at Leading Ladies Connect. Follow our Instagram. The venue is at 38 Metropolitan Road tomorrow in Scarborough, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for taking action and putting it up there for us. So that is good. Roger should be back on momentarily. Okay. He said US, though I can get a Canada connections too. Okay. So David, let's take that conversation offline. So Ryan, do you have your usual 10:30 today?
Actually, no, but
okay. So we'll go for Roger should be ready in just a moment. We'll go for about 10-15 minutes on this one because I need another voice in here. In here, and we're gonna roll up the sleeves here because this, like I said, I've got to the point that the more I know, the less I can understand. So Roger, are you ready? Okay, he's saying hold off. Okay, no problem. Okay. So you give me the thumbs up, Roger, when you're ready to come on. What is everyone else thinking about this? Black media in Canada. Now, I was gonna say something, but I'll see if someone else brings it up. I think Roger may bring it up, but I'm gonna hold my tongue on some things because I know. Just Brian, I'm not 100% with you. I would love you and respect you, but this is where we have good conversations in regards to these sort of things that we need to. Rolling up the sleeves is good, Dr. Tachi says. I love it. This is good. This is good. And Dr. Tachi, how's the air conditioning?
I'm curious of Dr. Tachi, what's her approach to like government intervention or making sure that the government or things that are happening get to her? Because maybe that's a blueprint that we could use if something's working. And if not, again, maybe there's something that we can do to make sure that it does start happening.
Roger, you good? Like, you're good? All right. It looks like he's good to go. So I'm going to bring him on. And let's see if he... Okay, why didn't he come on? I can't unmute the guest. So you got to unmute yourself, Roger.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Hey, good
what
to
is
see
up?
you.
I am so glad Roger and his wonderful, beautiful wife, Camille Dundas.
Well, that's not her behind me. That's a Benny Bing. That's a Benny Bing piece of artwork.
There you go. Actually, and his beautiful wife run things with buyblacks.com.
We just run Buy Blacks, just to be clear. So I wouldn't take ownership of anything else but what I own. But this is a very interesting conversation because you're talking about government support, government interacting with Black media, the absence of Black media from the government. So I'm going to touch on a couple of things, right? So I met with the government recently, again, for I think this will be the third time. So they have a liberal bureau that manages the advertising and everything that they do across the different media houses. And they, first of all, they had reached out to us to advertise the Emancipation Month. And then they decided, they're going to go in a different direction. No idea what that direction is. So, but they still insisted that they wanted to meet with me. And the person who met with me is a French-Canadian Black woman, right? So we met and we spoke, and here's the issue. The issue is who's on the list? Who's on their list of media that's approved for them to advertise with, right? So they start with that. Who's on the list? And then is the list maintained? So that's going to be the second thing, because the truth is media comes and goes. Huffington Post no longer in Canada. BuzzFeed is gone, guys. There's another one. Can't remember the name right now. I mean, now left for a while, and then Brandon resurrected it. Right. So that happens as well. So that was the first part. The first part is, is government even aware that you exist to purchase media? So that's one conversation. So let's flip over to the second conversation. So any questions with that? So they have their list. They're trying to update their list. I gave them a ton of names of other media houses to ensure that they have on the list, including Dr. Vibe Show, Caribbean Vibrations, Viva, Afro Global. Because when I sit down and I talk to government, I feel like I'm representing all Black media. So I'm bringing up everybody. I don't just say, I'm here by Blacks. I'm just trying to get some money for myself. I need to ensure that, other platforms are being made aware of to them. And they know share, excuse me, they know, I must have the same problem that Dr. Vibe has, a dry throat. They know share Caribbean Camera, Caribbean, they know these platforms. So the question becomes then, is it that the media houses were not invited? So I had to check through my emails first, before I could, so I checked my personal box, I checked the general inbox, I check everything to make sure that there was no invitation there that I missed, right? And to be honest with you, Camille could have gotten an invitation separately as the editor, right? So question is it that the Black media were invited and didn't go? Is it that the Black media gets invited to past events, didn't attend, and they just said drop them off the list? Because I'll be guilty of that, because they would invite me to things and I wouldn't attend. I personally wouldn't attend because I didn't see any value in going to that event that you guys went to, that one where they asked the media to come and talk, but then the formalities took 75% of the time. This person has to speak, that person has to speak, this person has to speak, this person has to bring greetings. And by the time you finish with all of that, we have 15 minutes to talk about what it is that we are supposed to be there for, which is, how does the Black media interact with government? So, that's just some of my quick observations with this thing.
Okay. And that brings both sides into the equation.
Right.
You did mention you do have the conversations. Is it possible that if they invite you to stuff and you don't go, then do they drop you off the list? I would say that wouldn't be a good approach by them, although it's possible. But still, because there's staples in Black.
I would do that. I would do that if I keep inviting a media host. Sorry, say it again. Ask that question again.
I was just listening. You're saying that you would do that?
Of course. I mean, as a publicist, we run a publicity firm, and if you keep inviting a certain media host and they just don't show up, after a while, you take them off your list.
I'm gonna jump in quickly here because there's some comments here. Dr. Tachi says, yes, rolling up the sleeves is good. She says, though, also the U.S. is a terrible example of functioning government. She also says, yes, Roger, welcome Fitness IQ Cam. And also Elemental Notes says, good morning, Mr. Dundas.
Thank you, Fitness. Thank you, Elemental Notes.
But I believe me, I know Roger a little bit, and I know that's the way he rolls. And I'm not going to say, but there's a certain individual that we were at an event. I'm not going to say what the event was a number of months ago, and a certain individual didn't show up. He says, man, I keep on inviting this individual to these events, and that person doesn't show up. I'm going to cut them off. That's the way he is, family.
Yeah. I mean, after a while, you just have to take the hint.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's so it's interesting because Roger met with this. It will be interesting to see if and when the government reaches out to any of these media platforms. Like I say, I get when government's running, I get weekly Like I was just looking at it right now. I get weekly things about what's going on in government.
So do we. So do we. So, so the second part of this conversation, I'm going to take it a step further.
Please do.
We're going to go deeper now, right? So
Yep.
I also met with the head of the Black Caucus,
Oh,
which is
Okay.
Ariel Kayabanga. Ariel, hey,
Yep.
what's up?
Yes.
Right. So I met with her in when were we there? Was it December? There was a gala that they
and
were
Ryan
having.
wasn't there.
No. It was something to do with women in politics,
Okay.
and we got invited to that event. So while I was in Ottawa, I said, let me use some time and meet with Ariel, because she's head of the Black Caucus. And the goal of my meeting was to get the get the advertising running for the Black Caucus on by Blacks, right? So that was the reason.
Yeah, your
And
intent.
we had a great meeting, and she said, yes, we need to set up an annual plan to have this continuous advertising going. So she said yes, and it hasn't happened yet. It's August now.
And
That's been December.
Okay, see?
So I'm gonna take some of the blame and say, okay, maybe I didn't reach out quickly enough, but I know that we did follow up, and it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet.
And so I just say, just in general, just a simple, like when you followed up, even response, say, hey, things are really busy right now. You're still on my radar.
I'm going to follow up today again. Just for the record, I am going to follow up today. I'm going to send an email today and follow up and see what happens.
So when I'm in situations like that, and I put on my last line, say, when is a good time to follow up with you? ? So leave the question and say, when is a good time to follow up with you? So I know if and when is good to follow up, because obviously she has a lot of things on her plate. Understood. Just if you could tell me when it's a good time. Is it 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever that time is? Once that deadline hits, you come back with another, say, hey, things are going okay. As per your last communication, you told me to follow up at this certain time.
So here's the other thing too, and and this is just a question, more of a question on an observation. If the media house is right leaning, would the left leaning political party then reach out to them, because they,
Roger, why are you being so rude? We're talking politics. You can't talk like that.
I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, there's certain media houses that are right leaning, and there's certain media houses that are left leaning.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's some that are straight down the middle. I would like to think that CBC is more of a straight down the middle type media house, but the National Post is right leaning. Yeah. And the Toronto Star is kind of almost going over to the left, but not really. Right? Center left, yeah, but not really. So I mean, and the same thing happens with the Black media. I won't call them out like that. But we're all smart people. We read the different platforms. We see the different opinions coming from the different media houses. Like, for example, how many media houses cover queer issues in the Black community? Right, so that would tell me that if you don't cover queer issues, then you're right leaning. That's just how it is. I mean, I don't make the rules. That's how it is.
True.
Democrats and liberals are more pro-queer, and the Republicans and conservatives tend to be more, against certain things being taught in schools and this and that and that, and those are the big problems that they are seeing. Just saying. That's just what it is.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Just want to catch up with some quick comments. Dr. Chachi says, "Hey, M. Dundas," and says, "Hey, Mr. Dundas, we still need to meet." Yes, you do.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Ha, Ryan. There's a gala coming up. I'll send it.
There's a gala on Saturday. JC is
tomorrow. Yes, Jamaica Independence Gala.
Yeah, but we're going to watch the play. Look what followed to the Mango Tree. Fitness IQ is also going to that play. and then we're going to
So
go check out that black restaurant after. Yeah, go ahead.
So Dr. Chachi says, Fitness IQ Cam, if there's a gala, Gallatin will attend with a crown and cape. You got to send it to him.
I'm still waiting for it. So we'll see. I'm still waiting for it.
Yes. So Dr. Chachi, you and Divine Right have been saying for a long time, I cannot wait to see him in the gown and cape attending a gala. That we need to get a still picture of that, and maybe we should include that in the intro of the morning vibe. You in a gown and cape.
All right. Oh man.
So yeah, media is a many splendored thing, not only in this country but all around the world. I think in this country, I'll agree with you, Ryan, that yes, we have to work together. But for me, when a platform like a Buy Blacks is now, okay, maybe Cam got something, we don't know. But if she didn't get anything, I'd go,
And I mean, full disclosure too, she's personal friends with Marcy Ian. Full disclosure. Marcy is one of our mentors. They work together on Canada AM.
CTV. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
At CTV.
So this is the thing I'm going, it's one of those situations, it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win for Black Canadians. It's a win for the Black Caucus. It's a win for whatever
the Black
media.
Liberal Caucus.
The Liberal Caucus. Sorry,
because there's also a Black NDP caucus, which has been reduced because Laura May, she's gone. And there's also a Black Conservative caucus.
Yes,
Laura Labor, that's NDP one is for provincial compared to federal, though.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead, Ryan.
But this is where does advocacy need to happen at that level? Because you were saying you're meeting with the advertising division, kind of as
the
Black
Liberal
media,
Bureau. The Liberal Bureau. They just happen to manage that.
Black media in general.
Right.
So does there need to be that type of advocacy that knows all the media houses and then can act like that's their job? It's like every day they're lobbying to advocate for Black media because you still wear the Buy Blacks hat, so you have stuff to do. Yeah. But is that something that we should put together?
That is actually a good point that Ryan is bringing up. That maybe it is, but I always say as well too, and I like to be fair. So I mean, the government does support media overall, including Black media through the Canadian Periodical Fund managed by the Heritage Ministry, and they also support Black media via the Ontario Creates for Ontario-based media, which I feel like most of the bigger platforms and most of the platforms are in Ontario. I mean, of course, there are some Quebec French platforms, and their platforms. I don't even know, to be honest with you, I don't know of a newspaper that is in, let's say, the West, like in British Columbia, or like something that's printed, British Columbia or Alberta or Manitoba. I don't know of any newspapers printed. I know of one magazine from Edmonton called Melanistic.
Okay.
Right?
Nice name.
It is a very nice name. Greg Davis is the one that runs that. Then there, and in Quebec there is what's it called again? Contact? The newspaper
I think it's what it's called.
Yeah, so there's a newspaper there, but then when you get over to the Atlantic, there's nothing that I saw. And I asked them when I was there in Halifax, as you know, in April, I asked them like, what Black media is here? And what's your friend's name again that you introduced me to?
Bernadette?
Bernadette said there's nothing. We got nothing.
Wow.
Right. So really, coming back to the whole point of we do get support, financial support via Ontario Creates. They're an awesome organization to deal with, very reasonable in how they dispense up the funding. I'm also on one of their committees, the Industry Advisory Committee for digital media. So with twice a year they meet. And then the Canadian Periodical Fund, they give funding to media as well to help with projects. So you can't get it. You're not going to get the funding. The only time you're not normally getting the funding for admin costs, right?
Okay.
But during COVID, they did provide some admin cost funding because they realized that we were screwed.
Taking a hit.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Just updating here. Fitness IQ Cam says Federation of Black Canadians are having one. I guess a gala. Dr.
Really?
Tachi says very true. It feels like in the Black community, the Black LGBTQIA plus people are not seen as part of the community. Therefore, they don't feel compelled to cover them.
Well, and there's some homophobia as well, because
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a Christian or Muslim, you are more likely to say that that's against your religion, or Catholic.
Yep.
The Catholic one
And
is
then-
very funny though, because anyway, let's not go there.
Okay, not today, anyways.
Not today.
And then Fitness IQ. Let's be fair, Dr. Tachi. Most of the Black community doesn't support the LGBTQIA plus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is a sad situation.
And Cam says, Cam, indeed, this is true. Yeah. So
I have too many friends who are from the community to, I'm just not for any type of phobia or hatred towards anybody really that is just living their life and loving somebody. I mean, why are you hating somebody because they're loving somebody? Two consented adults, why are we getting into their bedroom? I mean, there's no need for that.
Well, I guess, man, was it many years ago, the late Prime Minister Pierre Elliott Trudeau said the government has no business in people's bedrooms.
Yeah. Whether you're heterosexual or from the community, I mean, it's no business.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we've been on for a bit. I think we may need to just stop boring these people. Roger, thanks for coming in as always and adding great positive value to the conversation. Appreciate
Yes, sir.
you, Camille, your wonderful children.
Thank
wonderful
you.
Children.
Yes,
they are
yes.
a blessing. They're
To
a
me,
blessing.
yes. Best thing
Well-
ever happened to me.
Well, they're a blessing to me too. So,
Yeah, I know.
They
They are his publicists, by the way. They
Okay.
are
No.
his publicists. When they see me, they're like, "Oh my God, this is a superstar." Because he's on
Yes.
YouTube. He's on YouTube. He's a star.
You know what? Quick, a little funny story before we jump out of here. So, there's an organization I'm a board member, and they proactively want to hire those who have gone through the prison system and help them come back into the world, because I can't stand this reintegrating them into society. I go, do you really want them to be part of some of this society? But that's all a conversation. And we had a conversation with a potential candidate yesterday, and after one of their parole officer was there, and then after the call we talked, and the lady who runs this organization said, "Yeah, I talked to her about Dr. Vibe." He goes, "Oh yeah, we know who Dr. Vibe is." I go, "I don't know if I want parole officers to know who I am. I don't know if that's a good thing."
The man has a testimony
Yes.
from Boyce Watkins. That's like saying he has a testimony from Charlemagne the God or Umar Johnson in terms of reputation, not reputation, but visibility.
Yes.
And people
Well,
who know it. I mean,
it's
Boyce,
not-
if
it's
you
not-
guys don't know, Boyce Watkins is a big deal.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, and even up to last night, I was listening to him and his wonderful wife, Dr. Alicia, and he kept saying, he says, "Listen to the doctor." Like, I'm just going, okay, like I just said, B1 from Toronto. He says, "Yeah, my man, Dr. Vibe." So, the big ask is coming, family. The big ask is coming to have him on the show. So, but we have to. There's a number of potential things that we'll be planning ahead before that happens, because we want you all to know and spread that word all out. And even just seeing Dr. Alicia, if you haven't seen her, the replays are on the platform. You need to listen to what she has to say.
Well, speaking of things that you're hosting, so you're also going to be hosting something.
Yes,
for Vibe
Tuesday.
Labs on Tuesday.
So
Yes.
So there's this
So what's
legendary
happening?
cricket fans. This is for the cricket fans. So there's a legendary match coming up on the 19th between Jamaica and Trinidad here in Toronto. So both consul generals are going to be going. We're going to be having a friendly discussion about the upcoming, match on Tuesday at 7:00, and it's being hosted by Dr. Vibe. It's going to be
And
on,
in collaboration with BuyBlacks.com.
With BuyBlacks.com.
I'm only hosting it. Without them, it wouldn't happen. So
Yeah.
again, and I'm going to say this as we close out here. I think this is, and I have to do better. We as Black media houses, and Roger's taken a lot of initiative. We have to work together to win together, because unfortunately we're not in a country like the United States where there's so many, but collaboration is the only, like the conference that myself and Roger and why am I forgetting our other friend went to a few months ago, these big companies and talking about how do we understand Charles Matthews, another great content. Yeah, right. All these big companies there, Loblaws and all this, were saying we got to collaborate to understand this digital landscape, right? And I think another time, Roger, we should come on and at least either from yourself or Kamslyn, this new how Facebook is like pulling content off,
blocking Canadian content. Yes,
people don't realize.
It's hardcore. You know what? We should have really spoken about it, but there's too much. Maybe a different day. But it's really like I have no access to CNN. I have no access to. You have no access to Buy Blacks now on Instagram. So what? Even CTV. I saw that one of the producers, Jen McLean. She used to be Camille's boss, so I remember she posted on LinkedIn this week that hey, we're gonna start pushing our content on LinkedIn. So this is going to be an interesting thing, because I think what is happening right now is Meta and Google is coming as well to shut it down, right? But Google first, you put the information, it goes into Google News, right?
Yep.
But what's going to happen is the other platforms are going to see a rise because they're not blocking our content. So right now it's really just Instagram, right? Instagram and Facebook that's blocking our content. So people are moved over now to pushing content on TikTok and Pinterest, LinkedIn, because YouTube is also Google. So they're going to start blocking that content. I don't know how they're going to do that because you guys are also news. How are you going to block? That's a lot of accounts to block.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Please, and this is an appeal to people. We have our own email coming out soon. Please subscribe to Buy Blacks. We send client stuff and we send a weekly digest on a Sunday.
Yep. On Sunday. Yep.
And letting people know. So if you can jump on buyblacks.com, there's a subscribe button at the bottom. Click it. Trust me, you can unsubscribe at any time if you feel that the content is not for you. But if you're a Black Canadian, I think you're going to enjoy the content. The content is awesome, in my opinion.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Before we close it out today, we got David Hughes saying, I've offered it before and would like an article for Toastmaster magazine. The international conference is 16th of August in the Bahamas, and there are many Afro-Americans in our membership of 288,000 members.
Right.
Dr. Tachi says, David Hughes, is the magazine affiliated with the speaking organization? I believe it is.
It is.
And David says, Roger, he goes, now you're talking. I don't like cricket. I love it.
Okay. Yes.
I gotta jump. I do have
no
a
problem.
call.
Go ahead, Roger.
But guys,
thank you
so much for bringing me on as usual. And let's collaborate more. The black community needs to collaborate more in every industry. Everything. We have to just collaborate. We have to put egos aside and emotions and feelings and focus on business and advancing us as a community.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Take care, brother.
Take care, Roger. All the way. Have a good one. Be well.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Knight. I think we can call it a conversation today. We went all over the place from violence in the United States with a brawl to Jamie Foxx to the black media in Canada, all over the place. What's up for you today on the weekend?
Yeah, weekend again. I don't know. A lot of events are happening on Saturday. The JCA, the Jamaican Canadian Association, has their Jamaica Independence Gala. There's Sankofa Awards where I'm being recognized, so I'm gonna try and show my face there. So thank you.
You're gonna try and show your face there, okay?
You know how I feel about awards. It's very.
I hear you, but you said a while back you have a big ego. Hello, that doesn't align.
Yeah, I'll lean into it for this one. I'll lean into it.
Okay. All right.
So and Abimbola, she's having her event to support entrepreneurs. There is Branded TO, which is a youth
Oh
entrepreneurship
wow!
focused
I,
event
I
happening.
I appeared at one of their events many years ago. I
Yeah,
still
and
have
it's
the
their
black
10-year.
water bottle.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's their 10-year anniversary happening
Wow.
tomorrow. So full day, the pitch competition happening and workshops. We have our youth entrepreneurship training.
So all these events, interesting enough. Oh, and I think isn't Jerk Fest this weekend?
Yes, that's happening this weekend too.
Yes, and the
The
only way
weekend
I
is
found that
heavy.
out is Scotch Hill Restaurant on their Instagram page had someone from Emily Vukovic, who's now at CHCH for many years, was on the Weather Channel. She was there trying out Scott Hill Restaurant food, and she went, "Ooh," with the heat that came from it.
Nice,
But
nice,
yeah, so
nice.
there are a myriad of things going on in Toronto as
Yeah,
usual, especially
this weekend's
from
heavy.
a melanated lens. So enjoy everything this weekend. Wherever you are, enjoy your weekend. Really and truly, we appreciate you taking the time. And as usual, we didn't have a real agenda this morning, and look what happened. It just organically happened. So as always, you can catch replays of the Morning Vibe on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and Facebook, Afro Caribbean Network, Business Network on YouTube and Facebook, and Ryan O'Neill Night on YouTube and LinkedIn. As always, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Next up, join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me at dr@thedrvibeshow.com. Same thing if you want to advertise on our platform. That's it, or any of our platforms. This is how you can get a hold of me, and I'm doing it because we've ran way over time today. But but you know what? We haven't. There's a reason why, because it was worth running over time. But most of you stayed, so that's what we appreciate. Okay, just again, we're running a repeat on Monday because I cannot be here. I have something really important to attend. So Monday will be a repeat. Next Friday, Ray McMillan is back, and we've got I think we're pretty much booked for the rest of the month on the Monday and Fridays, and other stuff to come along the way. So as always, with these last two comments, because we don't leave anybody out. Okay. Actually, a few things. David Hughes, that's wonderful. I didn't even know there was a magazine talking about the Toastmasters. Mm-hmm. Dr. Tachi, yes, he is a district Toastmaster with many global connections. Yes. David, we got to get you on one day.
Yeah.
David says, always great to listen and learn. Thanks all. Yay. Congrats, Gala King. Oh, wow. Jerk Fest. Yes. Jerk is your favorite. You need to come up here to enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah.
And well, one day when Dr. Tachi comes on, we got to really do it up big. Her and Divine Right. And Elemental Notes, have a great weekend, everyone. All right. So we close off with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember, again, Monday replay. If you maybe message me, who do you want to see on the replay? If not, I'll pick something. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good, and don't have too much food this weekend. Bye.
Here we go.